What's up everybody? If you that don't know me, my name is Chris, aka Mr. Grow It, and I'm back with another video. I have the pulse monitor here with me. Some of you may have this, and also I have the SensorPush monitor here, a couple of them actually, and figured I would do a video comparing the two. So there have been quite a few people that have hit me up in the past. A lot of you know that I run the SensorPush monitor. I talk about it a lot in many of my videos, but some people have been asking, how does the pulse compare to that one? So that's what we're going to go over today. First thing we'll talk about is the dimensions, weight, then we'll get into what the units actually measure, Bluetooth versus Wi-Fi, we'll talk about some of the features, we'll get into the app, and then lastly, conclusion. But first, big thanks to Happy Hydro for sponsoring this video. Happy Hydro now has complete grow tent kits, and many of the kits actually come with my Beginner Grow book. The kits consist of AC Infinity grow tents, an AC Infinity ventilation system, your choice of lighting, whether it be Spider Farmer, HLG, the Green Sunshine Company, or Grower's Choice, So-Hum living soil, nutrients, oscillating fans, and more. I will leave a link to Happy Hydro grow tent kits down in the description section below, and you can use coupon code MrGrowIt for a discount on their products. So right off the bat, you can see that there are definitely a big difference in size here. The SensorPush is 1.75 inches by 1.75 inches by 0.65 inches, and the weight is 1.4 ounces. The pulse is going to be quite a bit bigger actually. This measures 4.5 inches by 2.5 inches by 1.125 inches, and the weight is 2.9 ounces. You can actually hang both of these. That's what I do, is I hang them at canopy level. There's a little hole here you can slide. I usually slide the light ratchet rope through it, tie it, and then hang it down. You can do the same thing with this. So it'll be a little bit easier with this. This hole is a little bit small. For battery life, the SensorPush really has this one beat. It's gonna take one of those smaller CR2477 batteries, and that's gonna last 1 to 2 years according to their website. The Pulse is actually gonna take 3 AA batteries, which is gonna last you 4 months. So a lot less battery life. However, you can actually plug in. There is a spot you can actually plug in and then run a line directly to your wall outlet. So you wouldn't have to worry about batteries at all with the Pulse. Now what I'm just showing you here is just a couple different models, right? This is the Pulse 1. They also have a Pulse Pro. And then the SensorPush has 3 models. They have the HT1, the ht.w, and the htp.xw. I think a fair comparison would be with the ht.w comparing with the Pulse 1. There are some features that are different, which we'll go over here in a minute, but that's kind of the closest, I would say. So the SensorPush HT1 is their cheapest model. It's going to be at $49.99 current price. I kind of hate mentioning prices sometimes in videos because they do change the price. So somebody might comment and say, hey, the price has changed. This information is wrong. Well, yeah, expect the price to potentially change. Right now, the HT1 is $49.99. This is HT1 right here. It's the oldest model that they have. I actually bought this one back in 2017, so I've had it for many years. Still works. Only have had to change the battery I think once on this one. Measures the temperature, humidity, and I believe now they've changed it so it can calculate VPD as well. Maybe dew point as well, but don't quote me on that. The next model up, the ht.w, that one does temperature, humidity, VPD, and dew point. And it's going to be a little bit more accurate when it comes to the temperature and humidity. Plus or minus 2% for relative humidity, and then plus or minus 0.2 degrees Celsius, or plus or minus 0.36 Fahrenheit. The ht.w is going to run you $64.99, so a little bit more expensive than the HT1. And then the htp.xw measures temperature, humidity, has VPD, dew point, and also a barometer as well, so air pressure it's measuring. Current price on that is $89.99, so of course a little bit more expensive than the other models. And I believe the htp.xw is a little bit more accurate as well. Pulse 1 is $199, so $199 for the Pulse 1. It's going to measure the same thing as the SensorPush: temperature, humidity, VPD, dew point, as well as light intensity. So one additional thing that it measures here, it's not going to be as accurate as the SensorPush, unfortunately. So they're reporting plus or minus 3% for humidity, plus or minus 1% for temperature, and then plus or minus 4% for VPD. SensorPush did not mention what their plus or minus was for VPD. So pretty big price difference there in regards to the units, but there's a good reason for that, and that's the connectivity. So the SensorPush is Bluetooth only. The Bluetooth range on this is 100 meters, about 325 feet. Data is collected at 1-minute intervals. Also, alert ranges can be set for temperature, humidity, VPD, dew points, so you can be alerted when there is a problem, when things are out of range. You get a push notification directly to your phone, or you can ask Alexa, which is new to me. I haven't hooked this up to Alexa yet. There is a Wi-Fi adapter for this. It's called the SensorPush G1 Wi-Fi gateway, and that's going to run $100. So a good comparison would be the SensorPush ht.w. That's going to run you $64.99 plus the Wi-Fi gateway, which is $99.99. So you're looking at about $165 for the SensorPush with the Wi-Fi capability. And again, comparing to the Pulse, it's $199 total. This already has Wi-Fi built in. You actually need Wi-Fi in order to use this. So from my understanding, there's no Bluetooth on this device at all. For the SensorPush, one mobile device can monitor an unlimited number of sensors, and one sensor can be monitored by an unlimited number of mobile devices. For the Pulse, unlimited number of sensors, including multiple locations and Wi-Fi networks, viewable on one dashboard. I couldn't find out how long the data is stored for the Pulse, but for the SensorPush, 45 days of storage on the sensor and unlimited in-app storage for unlimited devices on their database. One thing I really like the SensorPush is you can actually extract the data to a CSV file. So really you can put that into Excel, Google Sheets, other programs like that, and then you'll be able to manipulate the data as you wish. I'm pretty sure you can't do that with the Pulse, which is unfortunate. I know a lot of people do like to extract the data and manipulate it to see different trends and such. Okay, now let's take a look at the apps. First up is the SensorPush app. You can see right here I have 1, 2, 3, 4 different devices loaded up here. Let's just click on one of the devices. We'll do 2x4 canopy. You can see it takes a little bit to load the data, not too long. This is actually in my 2-foot by 4-foot grow tent, and I'm actually not using this tent right now. So you can see significant changes in the temperature and humidity as far as the graph. It's pretty big swings there is what I'm trying to say. But you can see a section for temperature, a section for relative humidity, a section for VPD as well. Gives you a little summary at the bottom there, and then a chance to export the data as a CSV file like I mentioned before. You can see the data by the hour, you can see the data by the day, by the week, by the month, and even by the year as well. Then in the settings, you can set a high and low limit for temperature, relative humidity, barometric pressure, dew point, and VPD. So you can see, for example, I have my relative humidity high set for 70% and low set for 40%. I don't have the alerts on. If I put the alerts on here, I would get an alert when it is out of range. But right now I'm not using that tent, so I'm keeping the alerts off. Down here in VPD, you can see I don't have a high or low limit set. But that's something I can easily add in when I want. And there's also a spot for leaf temperature offset, which you can see here and read here the explanation for that. That's pretty much the SensorPush app in a nutshell. Now let's go into the Pulse Monitor app. All right, there we go. So I just have one Pulse Monitor. You can see that it looks like there's a battery alert on there. So I have a low battery, need to change that soon. Just a quick view of the dashboard. See the temperature, humidity, light, VPD, dew point, pressure. Click in on that. You can see some more data. You can see a spectral analysis. There's some settings here, change Wi-Fi settings, VPD leaf temperature offset. You can calibrate the unit. You can also calibrate on the SensorPush. I just didn't show that part. Usually there's a graph here. I'm not sure why the graph isn't showing, but usually you would see a graph here. See a lot of different information, alert settings. It's definitely a lot more extensive than the SensorPush app. You can do daytime settings, nighttime settings. Up here you have a calendar that you can actually go in and edit. You can do different entries for things that you did, new events, for example. There are also different templates here that you can use to manage settings across multiple devices. Oh, just noticing now you actually can export the data into CSV just like SensorPush. So I wasn't aware of that. That's awesome that they have that, because I know there's a lot of people that really like to extract the data and manipulate it so they can see different trends and such. And that's pretty much the Pulse app in a nutshell. So there's a quick comparison of the Pulse monitor versus a SensorPush monitor. SensorPush monitor is going to be significantly smaller than the Pulse monitor. However, the SensorPush only has Bluetooth enabled, so you have to actually buy a Wi-Fi adapter if you want the Wi-Fi capability. Pulse monitor already has Wi-Fi built into it. Both of these measure temperature, humidity, VPD, dew point. However, with the Pulse one, you're actually going to get light intensity as well. Accuracy. SensorPush is going to be a little bit more accurate than the Pulse monitor. And then for the actual app on your phone, you're going to get more with the Pulse app. I personally would like to see the SensorPush add in CO2 monitoring. Pulse has another monitor called the Pulse Pro. It has CO2. It also has PAR measurements in PPFD. So I think the next step for SensorPush would be to add the CO2 and potentially add in PPFD measurements as well. I certainly didn't go over all of the details for each of these monitors in this video. That would make this video way too long. Just the features that I thought were pretty important for monitoring your garden. What features did I miss that you think I should have mentioned? Let me know down in the comment section below. Which monitor do you use? Do you use the Pulse? Do you use the SensorPush? Or do you use a different monitor? Let me know down in the comment section below. Links to all these SensorPush models with the Wi-Fi gateway and also the Pulse 1 and Pulse Pro will be down in the description section below. If I have coupon codes for you, I will link those down in the description section below. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace.